Today I'm going to show you how to turn this and these into this. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Holly here. So today I am going to show you how to turn this wooden hoop into a really big Christmas wreath using Christmas baubles. So I got these at our local Kmart and Target during the end of season sale last year, so I got them pretty cheap, but you can get Christmas baubles pretty cheap anyway, so I have quite a few different colors that I'll be using. And this was actually from a wall hanging I had when I was a kid, and this big wooden hoop has been sitting in my garage for years with the one-day plan to turn it into something useful. So a giant wreath is what it will become. And instead, if you don't have one of these laying around, you can get similar at the craft store, or you can get wire ones or foam ones. The difference is I won't be using a hot glue gun to make this wreath. I will actually be tying them on because there's no opening for me to slide anything onto it anyway, and I don't want to use a hot glue gun. So I'll be tying them all around, making it really easy if you don't want to make a wreath using glue. You can also use a wire coat hanger, which is a really easy option as well, because then you can slide them onto the wire. So I'm going to get started and show you how to do this. Okay, let's get started. So make sure you have your hoop, whether you're using a wooden hoop, a wire hoop, such as this one, or a foam hoop, it doesn't really matter. The main difference with this is because it is thin and it doesn't have an opening, I'll be tying each of the baubles around the hoop rather than using a glue gun. So it's definitely a tidier way of doing it, but if you have a different kind, so a foam hoop instead, then you'd probably want to use a glue gun. The other thing you'll need is a pair of scissors and of course all your baubles. So these ones are actually leftovers from our Christmas tree ones that didn't actually, some of them don't have strings on them, so I'll just add string to those ones and use them. And then these ones I got cheap last year. I think they were half price at the end of season sale, but you can get them from any discount variety store, or yeah, they're pretty cheap to get anyway. So make sure you have lots if you have a hoop, because this hoop is really large, so I'm going to need a lot. Hopefully I have enough now. Okay, so getting started. Whoops, that's not helpful. Don't think I'll use that one. Okay, that one's nice and firm. So I'm not going to try and untie them because that would just be way too fiddly. So I'm just going to snip them and then tie them on. Nice and tight. Just making sure to give it a double knot. Like that. So once they're all tied on, you won't see those strings anymore, and if there are any strings showing, you'll be able to just go through and snip them off anyway. If any of the strings are too short, just have some spare string on hand that you can use instead. Okay, so rather than make you watch me do this the whole way, I am going to speed up and do a time lapse, so then you can watch me and fast forward. once you get to this stage where your wreath looks to be mostly full, make sure you flatten it down the table by pushing the hoop down to the table so the balls pop to the front. And this way you can see where there's any gaps where you might want to add any more. So here I've got a bit of a space, so I'll probably add a couple more at that area. And this will also show you if any of them pop out, whether you might need to add a bit of hot glue gun into the bauble clasp just to make sure they don't pop off again. Then once you've filled in all the gaps, your wreath is ready to hang. Here it is, the finished product. So I have a few tips I want to share with you for making your wreath. The main thing is making sure you have enough baubles. So I brought a few packets that I actually had from last Christmas sales and they weren't nearly enough. So I've ended up raiding our Christmas tree decorations as well. And there's still room for me to add a few more. So it might look really full when it's laying down on the table, but as soon as you hang it, you'll find that the baubles will all move into their position and it'll leave a few extra gaps. So you'll be able to go back and fill those ones up after. But also once it is against the wall, they will flatten out. And so it will fill up a lot better than what it looks right now with me holding it in the air. The other thing, making sure that you have different sizes because they fit better if you have the little ones fitting in around the big ones. So the different sizes work really well. You can do it with all the same size, but you'll have to make sure that you are tying them at different lengths just so that they can fit in around each other a bit better. Another thing that you can do if you want to make sure that they stay in the position that you want them to, you could go around and use a hot glue gun and glue the strings into that position so that it pushes them forwards, and that'll keep them from rotating around the back and it'll keep it laying flat against the wall better as well. But other than that, it's really simple. You could use a hula hoop or anything else that you have. It doesn't need to be this big. This size is probably too big to hang on our front door, so I'll hang it somewhere else on the wall in the house instead. And yeah, you can make smaller ones, you can make bigger ones. So this isn't quite hula hoop size, but it's not far off it. By tying them, you don't have to use a glue gun, so it is a good mess-free option, and that makes it a really good Christmas DIY that you can do with kids as well, so they could easily tie baubles onto a wreath themselves. So I hope you've enjoyed that tutorial, and make sure you give the like and comment below and tell me what you think. Okay guys, have a fabulous day. Bye.